Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, Lauren Frey, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. So I have been seeing a lot lately that a lot of major PC games, stuff like RedFall, stuff like The Last of Us Part 1, stuff like, countless other games. I think Days Gone had issues. I think a lot of other PC ports have had issues. Like, I've been noticing more and more that a lot of PC versions of games are running more and more poorly, right? Gone are the days where people could seriously try and convince you that the PC was the best console, the best platform imaginable with these super high res visuals and higher frame rates and all these mods. Now, in 2023, you can look up comparison videos on YouTube. You can see just how badly a lot of these games are optimized and just how poorly they run and just how many issues they have. And you can look at Steam reviews. You can look at player experiences. The information is out there. The narrative that PC gaming is inherently superior to consoles, not just Nintendo consoles, but consoles in general, is dead. If you want to play The Last of Us Part 1, honestly, you're probably better off just getting a PlayStation 5. If you want to play anything that's on an Xbox, you probably should just get an Xbox, because there are so many of these games that come out on Steam that are just broken day one, that are just unable to be fixed, that nobody's going to try to fix, and is completely reliant on the fan community and having a highly specialized rig that's designed to play a lot of these broken games. A lot of these developers seem to think that it's up to the audience to get their games up and running, which is of course ridiculous and is unreasonable and is you shouldn't have to mess around with files and the interface to get the game running, right? But that is what we're seeing here, that we're seeing game crashes, we're seeing deleted saves, we're seeing frame stuttering, graphical glitches, we're seeing all sorts of things. PC gaming is inferior. It is it's been something I've been talking about for a long time, and it feels more and more as if it's starting to become mainstream, because 10 years ago, when PC gamers said their platform was superior, people just kind of rolling their were rolling their eyes at it, but they weren't really calling them out on it either, right? When people started talking about oh man, I own 2 games on PC and one of them is Dragon Age Inquisition, and that's way better than anything you can get on consoles, despite the fact that Dragon Age is available on consoles. People would just roll their eyes at it and just, move on with their lives, right? It's not something that most people take all that seriously. But now, because they've been doing it so much, and because there have been so many high-profile new releases that have launched on PC and just completely just been disasters, right? Because there have been so many issues with the Epic Game Store and holding games hostage. I believe even now, Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins is still not available on Steam. Kingdom Hearts 3 is not available on Steam. Kingdom Hearts Collection is not available on Steam. The year is 2023, and the Nintendo Switch got Kingdom Hearts 1, got the Kingdom Hearts 1 collections before Steam did. All right, there are so many issues with Steam and PC gaming and the developers that are making these kind of games. It really makes you wonder why exactly is anyone really hyping up this platform? Who exactly was getting excited for Redfall? Who exactly was getting excited for Justice League, Suicide Squad? I'm sorry, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, excuse me. The Suicide Squad is so irrelevant, I automatically just frontline the Justice League. Harley Quinn will never ever be a solo hero, okay? It's never going to happen. You have Gotham Knights, which was a disaster. I can't even keep track of all the games that are just bad on these next gen platforms. The big AAA games of this decade have all been objectively terrible, or alternatively were developed with last generation in mind. Doom Eternal. I believe Doom Eternal came out on PS4 and Xbox One. I don't remember, but it came out on Switch, so I'm sure it did. But it feels like this generation has kind of ushered in this age of just games that just do not work. A decade ago, it was about games getting shorter and not having as much content, not being fun. It's gotten worse. Games straight up do not work. And more, I think people are just not getting excited for new games, because it's the same pattern over and over and over again. A new game comes out, and it's just complete trash. No matter how much like the game journalists try to write it off and like, or try to tell you that like, oh, it works on my machine. Like the vast majority of most people's experiences with like, Horizon Zero Dawn or, Death Stranding or like anything else that's come out in the past 5 years has been like overwhelmingly negative. Like even if the game works, they're not very good. And I think like this is like the new. It's kind of like the Marvel thing, actually, like cape shit. It started around the same time where like people were like worshiping all these new AAA games like on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Mass Effect, Uncharted, God of War, Gears of War. Splinter Cell, Metal Gear Solid 4, like all these games that have like really clear, like real serious problems with them. But like, oh man, it doesn't matter. It's still way better than what Nintendo is doing, right? And then what happened? Like, all these developers just like went belly up. Kojima left. Final Fantasy became like more and more irrelevant. Like there have been so many examples of just studios that have just been destroyed over the past couple of years. And a big reason for that is because they simply don't make games. Okay, we're past the point where we're saying the games aren't any good. We're now saying that the games don't work. Like we're straight up at the point where like it's better to simply just not buy the product, right? Like, I want these companies to fail. I want them to just go away and stop trying to sell me on absolute nonsense. Like I am completely 100% done. I am not buying a PC. I am not getting an Xbox. I am not getting a PlayStation. Like I have more games that I can possibly play on Nintendo Switch already. And as a result of that, I have no interest whatsoever in your primitive, ancient, like outdated PC gaming platform.